Talk Radio. Rev it up, roar it out.
The voice of the people.
The home of common sense.
Solid state human debate on a digital platform.
Radio that stands to reason.
Listen and learn.
Talk Radio.
This is Talk Radio. We've been talking about Ukraine right throughout the show today, and now we're going to go to neighbouring Slovakia, where Eric Wiltsher is there. He's the Consulate Warden of Propad in Slovakia. Eric, you're very welcome to Talk Radio this afternoon. Thank you very much indeed for joining us.
No, you're very welcome, Peter. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I hear that there's a state of emergency has just been declared in Slovakia as to applied in the last few hours, declared in connection, because there's so many foreigners, of course, coming across to Slovakia, so many refugees, essentially, from Ukraine. You're to the east of Ukraine, of course. Slovakia, another former Soviet republic, and is a member of NATO, I think I'm right in saying that.
Correct.
So, tell me what the thoughts, what are you hearing and seeing, Eric, in Slovakia?
There's a number of things that are happening. For example, and I'll just grab my notes, President Zelensky was calling our president, Susanna, and his first words to her was, "Susanna, we are being bombed. Many soldiers and civilians have died." And then he continued to ask for help. And the cry for help has resulted in, and remember, this is a country of 5.5 million people, so it's no bigger than Wales, for example.
A lot smaller than Ukraine as well.
Absolutely.
In terms of people coming in and those refugees, presumably you're seeing evidence of that already. What is the attitude of people in Slovakia to their neighbour?
They are absolutely, they adore them. They will do anything for them. There are fundraising concerts going on. There's all sorts of get clothes for people. It is the compassion for the Ukrainians is enormous. And the government stance is that they've just sent 12,000 pieces of artillery ammunition, 10 million litres of fuel, 2.4 million litres of aviation fuel, and 2% demining systems, as well as other things as well. So they are really trying to help the Ukraine. And, you know, Slovaks don't want to be back where they were in 1989. They've had enough of it. So they don't want to, and therefore they will protect, if you like, their civilization by helping the one next door, the neighbours, i.e. the Ukraine, in Kyiv.
Absolutely. It's wonderful to hear that there's so much compassion for people coming across the border, but of course Slovakia is a small country. I wonder at what stage that, you know, in terms of the provision that's being made for people, can you see a stage where people lose patience with the number of refugees coming across?
Currently, no, and that is supported by the fact that there is a group. It's kind of like all the municipal leaders within the regions and the cities. They have continual meetings on, on Zoom or Skype or whatever. They had a huge meeting this week, and they've all said, we will take as many refugees as come. And there is a reason for that, Peter, that it's very commonplace for me to drive down the road and see a Ukrainian car. Lots of Ukrainian people live here. They've worked here for years. They're warmly accepted because they're very hardworking. I would say one of the things, and I'm laughing because I know what's coming, the Ukrainian ladies are incredibly strong. If Mr. Putin thinks, fighting a bunch of women is going to be a piece of cake, he's wrong. He's totally wrong, because they will fight to the nth degree for their families.
There has been a tremendous amount of courage in Ukraine already from people, I mean, male and female. I was reading earlier about a young man who's defending a bridge just by himself. There are so many people, and they seem to be led by their president, who is making very clear that he's there and staying there and not being moved. I wonder, in terms of the solidarity of the Slovakian people, whether they feel obviously they've been given so much help and all the rest of it, but obviously Slovakia is part of NATO. So I just wonder at what stage their kind of NATO membership and their alliance to the West and their westward looking actually informs everything that's going on and the thought processes that are there, because they've obviously been through hell in terms of being part of the Soviet Union, now liberated from that, and presumably they don't ever want to go back to that hideous way of life.
No, we are used to having NATO troops here anyway, which is the first point. It's very common. I wouldn't call them major exercises, but they're mini exercises. And they will come down to this part of Slovakia, which is, as you said, quite close to the border. And there is a divided view here. If you look at what I call old Slovakia, there's still a kind of warmth to Russia. A little bit of warmth. When you move away to young Slovakia, there is an absolute defiance to Russia, and they are, for want of the journalistic speak, they are westernized people. Yeah. They don't want the dictatorial ways. They like to be able to say yes or no, having made their own minds up. And that also pans into the president we've got now, Susanna. She's a very liberal president, very strong-minded. She's a lawyer, and she defends people. She defends the rights of the journalists, the media, everything that Putin doesn't like. She actually defends. Yeah. So you've got a minority that are somewhat old-fashioned, but we see that in every country in the world. But the majority are very forward-thinking. Having said that, there is a state of emergency. In the mindset of some people, I've spoken to them, I'm with Slovak people right now, who are making provision to maybe getting passports for other countries, going to Switzerland, all sorts of things, just in case. Yeah. Just in case.
Eric, how long have you lived in Slovakia yourself?
17 years.
My goodness. And what is a consulate warden? What does that mean?
It could be anything. In my case, the primary thing is to get messaging out to people.
So you've thrown yourself into the society there. You're not going anywhere. You're happy to take part in civic life.
Oh no, absolutely. I run the Pop Rad English group, for want of another saying, and the key parts are getting to social media, getting messaging out, not just to Brits, which is how it starts, but also to Slovak citizens as well. We do that via our radio station. There's an enormous number of Slovaks that listen to our shows, and we share them. What information we've got, we share with the local community as well as the wider community. So yes, I'm very much embroiled in Slovakia. Yep. I have a Slovak driving license, Slovak ID card, you name it. Mine is all Slovak.
Excellent stuff. Well, Eric, thank you very much indeed. Eric Wiltsher there. And in regard to Slovakia itself, if you're an immediate family member of a British national, there's emergency visa guidance, or you can give them a ring on 0300 302 2785. Lines are open Monday to Friday 8 to 8 and Saturday and Sunday 9 to 5. Apologies to Mimi's Soapbox. I incorrectly said Slovakia was a former USSR country. That is wrong. Of course, that was a factual error. I apologise for that. I am absolutely out of my comfort zone, as I think a lot of people are, talking about this issue, because politics is what I talk about most of the time, and we're learning a lot. All of us are learning together, so forgive me for my mistake there. I'll try not to make too many others, and thanks for keeping me on the straight and narrow. If I do make errors, and I am human, just let us know. And whether you agree or disagree with me on anything you've heard today, or actually want to get a message to people in Slovakia or Ukraine, some of whom are listening today, I know 0344 499 1000. Text me on 87222 with the word talk, or tweet me at Talkradio. The news is next.
Talk Radio.
Listen on your smart speaker.
Watch it live on your smart TV. The world headquarters of common sense.
Talk Radio.